Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Kate Fitzgerald with Brilliant Life Community. I'm speaking with Stacey Chambers, who is an author, Army veteran, mental health ally, creator, and living proof of healing through expression and self-love. Hello, Stacey, and thank you for joining me.
Hi, how are you today?
I am so fabulous. I've been looking forward to meeting you, so I'm excited that we get to meet and talk.
Thank you. I know the email exchanges have been in between, but it's good to meet you too, Kate.
Great. Thank
I'm
you.
excited.
Okay. So in 2008, you were diagnosed with major depressive disorder. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I can. Major depressive order it's a condition where your core mood is rooted in sadness. So it's like an underlying feeling that's always there, even if it doesn't look like it on the outside. On the outside. Um, and then that creates a never-ending sadness. The sadness creates other stuff like fear, anxiety, illness, sickness. And for me, it led to seclusion, withdrawing, just not talking to a lot of people, only my therapist, not wanting to do much, the things that I used to do in the past, just kind of lose interest in things. And something that I didn't mention in what I emailed you was that um, different events trigger major depressive disorder. It could be, for me, I noticed that the major depressive disorder kicked in after I had a flashback from when I was in Desert Storm. And I believe that that we all have something that could, that triggers us. Everybody is susceptible to major depressive disorder, not just veterans. It's anybody, because there's a lot going on and people have PTSD from anything. So
Mm, mhm. Yes, I imagine that this time right now is very difficult for so many people for so many reasons. So let's see. So you stated that you did cognitive behavioral therapy as a result of this diagnosis. What is that?
cognitive behavioral therapy, and a lot of people, you hear them say CBT. Um, it doesn't work for everybody, but it was one that worked for me. I was fortunate enough to not have to take medication or anything. Cognitive behavioral therapy is more of a talk therapy. And um, the therapist or the psychologist, they kind of dive into your negative thoughts, um, your not negative thought patterns, and they try to help you be more aware of them when they show up. And then you kind of dive into the negative thoughts and see where they came from. And you get to the root of them, and you kind of just break down your emotions and just not let them sit there. You kind of work with them, but by talking. So
Terrific. What brought you to your art?
what brought me to my art? Actually, CBT therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Um, One of the activities during during my treatment was to get out and do something that you like. Since I was so secluded all the time, my therapist just encouraged me to look up things that were something that I resonated with, or things that anything that I loved that was interesting to me. Oh, I gave an example in what I sent you of how it brought me to my art and how I started writing. And it was an exercise that she did with me when I was having negative thoughts about myself, really negative thoughts about myself, like I hated myself.
Mm,
Um, she had me to write a letter to myself from someone who loved me, and it was like a pretend letter. So I wrote this letter in in their voice, and just said a whole lot of nice things about myself. And that kind of started the process of me writing So I didn't know that I liked to write until I started going to therapy. So after that, I started buying composition books instead of like journals. I think that was maybe my first one, but I just started buying journals and just writing every day. And the other part of CBT that brought me to my art is the phase when I was doing better, and the actual things that I got into wasn't just writing. It was writing. I got into a play. I started a play. It was called Fired Up. I'll talk about that later. But then something else that I did that I enjoyed, since I had been writing so much, I recited a poem at an event. And I started taking pictures of the sky. It was just all of a sudden the clouds would catch my attention, nature, and yeah. So that's what led me to my art. And I have a page on my website on www.letusprogress.net, where I kind of just put all my art on one page. So it's just a sample of some of the stuff, the creative stuff that I do. And the page is called My Creative Portfolio. And there's a lot of samples of my writings and my art. So.
That's fantastic. So pretty much one of your first exercises, as it were, was kind of like a verbal hug, you know, somebody saying, I love you. So yeah, that's lovely. I also want to ask you, how did you come up with a name for your website? What does that mean to you?
Let Us Progress. This started coming to me before my 9-to-5 job ended in 2017, where I did administrative work for probably almost 20 years. But getting close to ending that job, the corporate job, I started looking into ways of progressing. It's like the title of my book was all about progress. And so I just started liking the idea of making gradual progress, because the word has two meanings. It's progress and progress. So you can move forward, or it's the noun. It's a noun and a verb. It's a thing and an action. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. I love the word, and you can progress in so many ways, and you can make progress in so many different ways. So that was my idea behind the name of the website.
That's fantastic. And I love that you love words. I love words.
Thank you.
Okay, so we talked about, your art. Talk about your connection with nature.
My connection with nature. It started with in therapy. It was really healing. There was just something about tuning into the sky, to the clouds, to nature, the trees, that, I don't know, it just calms me. And it's a certain serenity when you tune into it, and it's healing. So.
That's wonderful. I'm so happy for you that therapy brought you to so many things you didn't know that mm-hmm. you, and that you're really good at. Joy. No, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So much so that I used the nature in my book, my first book. The pictures that are in there, all the pictures I took were with my iPhone of clouds, like for the chapters and the cover. So.
And you have a nickname that your father calls you.
Sky Watcher. Yeah.
That is so lovely.
Sky Watcher.
Is there a story? Yeah.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to incorporate that name somehow into something.
Absolutely. It could be just your title, like some people are president or something. You are just Skywatcher.
Skywatcher. Just add that. Stacey Chambers, Skywatcher.
I like it.
Skywatcher State, or you middle name.
Absolutely. We'll have business cards printed up. It'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Your book, My Progression Through Depression, a series of chronological poems mapping my journey to recovery, is out of print, which I'm very disappointed about because Mary loves it. Yes, there it is.
Yeah, I had a few copies left over that I keep for keepsake. So,
Of course you do. And so, of course, I need to ask, any chance of seeing another printing?
there is going to be. I was struggling with the idea of changing some of the aspects of the book, not the content, but maybe like the cover, or have it professionally edited, because although it's my first book, I kind of Googled my way through it and I didn't really know what I was doing. And it needs to be edited. I got connected with the writing group, Women of Words, which Nadia, that did the other interview, is a part of. And I have all kinds of mentorship now to know how to publish a book in the right way, in the way that I want to. So I canceled the contract with the publishing company so I can get things going the way that I want to, and publish it in a way that resonates with me and not the company that I went with.
Of course, your vision, not theirs. Absolutely.
Right.
Oh, I love it. And you have another book?
I have another and another. I have a whole lot.
Oh,
I'm the journal queen. I have so many journals and so much content to put together. But immediately, I have two that I have in mind right now.
Oh, good.
And one of them is around navigating negative thoughts. Yeah, and I'm thinking of ways to make it interactive. So we'll see. I didn't pressure myself and put a timeline on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that, but that's not really my thing, to pressure myself. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing it when we see it. So you use writing and journaling as an outlet, and we've talked a little bit about how they've been helpful, but can you tell us more about how that's been helpful for you?
It helps me to get out of my head and to get what's in my head on paper so I can look at it. It's different for me when I can see it, just process things that are going on in my head on paper. It helps me keep track of my mental health in that way. It tracks my progress because I'm able to look back, at a later date and say, oh, I was doing this, back then. And now, I'm so much better now, or I'm doing something so much different now. And I also write the date and time on every page of my journal. No little nerdy thing I do, but every single page, because I like to, I don't know, I think time is important to keep track of.
It's interesting to know whether you do that in the morning, in the evening, night. I did recently read a quote, and I'm not going to do it well, but something along the lines of, I don't know what I'm thinking until I see what I've written. And I think you just described that very well. It's like I need to get it out there and see how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
That's great. So do you have something you'd like to share with us?
I do. I shared it for the first time about a week ago with my fellow veterans. We had a Warrior Writers Zoom meeting where we get together and someone will read something and we'll, like a prompt, and then we'll write based on what they wrote. And so I kind of piggybacked off of one of my fellow veterans. He wrote about something about, I won't say what he was writing about, but I wrote what we are facing. Individuals that don't want to, individuals that don't know how to, individuals that won't self-reflect, work on self, or go within. What we are facing, a country that doesn't want to, a country that doesn't know how to, a country that won't self-reflect, work on self, or go within, a world that doesn't want to, a world that doesn't know how to, a world that won't self-reflect, work on self, or go within.
Wow, that was powerful. And what time did you write that?
I wrote that on Monday, July 27, 2020 at 11:30 a.m. Not too long ago.
No.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, but it piggybacked off of someone who did a whole lot of self-reflecting. And we're able to do that amongst each other. I don't know, I feel really comfortable around other veterans because we're able to just talk and not judge each other about, you know, anything. And it was really, really, it's healing, therapeutic.
Yeah, I think it's really important. That's wonderful that you have a group of people, and well, it sounds like more than one because you've got the Women of Words, and then you've got the Veterans group, at least for two, where you've got places where you feel incredibly comfortable to share yourself, be vulnerable, to grow, to heal.
Yes.
So lovely.
Yes.
You have an exercise called Self-Love Mirror exercise. Can you tell us about that?
I can. It's the self-love mirror exercise. And this, I know people may think that I copy this from Louise Hay, if you know who Louise Hay is. It's done some type of, but I didn't even know about it before I did this. I learned about the mirror exercise through an online course I took in 2017. And it was, you know, forgiving your life. To forgive the heck out of your life. That wasn't the word, but and the lesson where I learned about this, the mirror exercise, was how do I get out of my own way? And this exercise I was instructed to look in the mirror at myself into my eyes for 3 minutes and say, I love you. And this is in a period where I didn't really love myself. So this was the first time I had ever done anything like this. So it was very emotional. It started off really emotional, like, wow, it felt weird, like, you know, saying I love you to myself and, you know, trying to believe it, you know, that I deserve it. And so, you know, I'm not a horrible person. And the more I did it, the 3 minutes, the more I felt it, the more that it started to feel real. And I didn't want to stop after that. So I kept telling her, I was like, I love you. I didn't want to stop. So it felt that good. And in 2018, I wanted to start a depression support group. I attempted a couple of times, did a couple of meetup groups. I think that's how I met Mary. She stumbled across my page when I was trying to do some support groups. But since I had such a good breakthrough with the mirror exercise in 2017, I thought maybe I would incorporate it somehow into you know, an exercise in the support group. And so I came up with a document where I kind of talk you through some self-love questions. Yeah. And then I give word suggestions to say to yourself in the mirror. You know, like awesome, sweet, pretty, you know, bad arse, or whatever, you know, you can substitute whatever word, however you talk, because it's you. You can talk to yourself in a loving way, however that is for you, however you interpret it. So.
Yes, you have like exquisite, opulent, passionate,
you are
serene.
passionate.
Yeah, really good words. And I do love adjectives. These are fabulous words.
You sexy gray-haired woman, you know, stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I love it. And is that on your website?
I don't think I have a copy of that on my website. That's
Could we?
it could be a resource.
Okay.
I have something that's downloadable on there, a resource sheet, but it's for mostly mental health resources.
Oh,
But
and
okay, we'll see.
oh, what? Just a thought. Okay.
Mhm.
What is the thing that you have that's downloadable?
It's a resource sheet with like NAMI, how contact numbers and different programs you can links you can click on to for support and phone numbers.
Excellent. Thank you. Have you ever had any speaking engagements? And if so, can you tell us about them?
Yes, I've never been a keynote speaker, but I've done a few things on stage. Let's see, I recited a poem that I wrote called Women Win at a women's political event in 2012. And that was connected to me breaking out of my shell, during my cognitive behavioral therapy. So that was huge for me to do that on stage. And let's see, what else did I do? I got involved in a play called Fired Up in 2014, and that brought attention to child sexual abuse. And and we went on tour to several colleges and locations around Minnesota. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, what is it? The breakout session at the Women's Veterans event, the conference last year. They had a breakout session, and me and another fellow veteran guided or led a class on storytelling. And the theme of the theme of the conference was self-care. So just got to talk about storytelling and my writing process a little bit, and how to just express yourself and in your own way. Yeah.
So you are available for more than just speaking engagements. You could read some from your works or be involved in other plays. You're very versatile.
I am versatile.
I love it. Thank you. What are you currently working on?
What am I currently working on? I've been taking the book project in chunks. So just, a little bit here, a little bit there. I recently pulled out all of my journals again so that I can, pull information from whichever ones. And lately I've been creating a whole lot of time-lapse videos. And it's mostly of the sky. I like to watch the cloud transformations.
That's your name, yes.
Sky Watcher.
Yes.
And there's some visual art project coming to the surface about that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking of some kind of visual book, some kind of video. I don't know. To show the time-lapse videos.
It's bubbling around in there. Again, very excited to see what happens next with you. How can we contact you?
You can contact me at letusprogress.net. That's letusprogress.net.
Thank you.
Or visit my website at letusprogress.net and click on the contact page.
Terrific. Okay. What else would you like our audience to know?
What else would I like you to know? What did I? Oh, that I'm pretty open with my journey, my mental health journey. I don't post a lot, but it depends on my mood if I feel like sharing or not. But you can kind of see my process on my website, on my social media. So I suggest, if you're ever bored and just want to go scrolling through somebody's page with content of substance, then my Instagram page, Let Us Progress, or I have on my I have a Let Us Progress time lapse page also with all of my visual art. So little getaway. Yeah. And I think
Wonderful.
that will be helpful during this time. You know, you need something different to look at or something motivational, you know.
That's wonderful. Well, Stacey, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate all the great works that you're doing. And I look forward to speaking to you again. I certainly hope I have the opportunity.
Thank you, Kay. This has been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, you take care.
Thank you. You too.